how did the roundtable start, Lawrence? We've talked about it a couple times. Rodney did a great documentary, Behind the Lens, that's on YouTube.
Yeah, Rod, you made a great 2 parts. Is there more?
I don't think we'll ever see part 2, but tell the audience how it came to be that we took this idea of us doing a talk show about pro wrestling on the internet.
Well, as creatures of habit and ritual, we had our Thursday night tradition of walking around the block and hanging out at Eric's house. But the Monday night tradition for a number of years in the mid-2000s was to go to Rod's house and our mutual friend Brian Coppola, also a filmmaker, his house, and watch Raw. And we began speaking about the build-up for WrestleMania 23 and the big main event, the only main event on that show, which was a certain presidential candidate and Vince McMahon in a hair versus hair match.
It's Donald Trump, okay? It's Donald Trump.
And there was a debate at the end of the show about the poster, the build up to the show, but also the poster,
right? Specifically,
which had an image of the 2 stars of the match, the 2 celebrities, Vince and Donald, and had the wrestlers Umaga and Bobby Lashley in the background, not the foreground. It looked as if the match was between the 2 guys in the suits,
right?
And I had thought that this made total sense because this is what the promotion, this is what people want to see. This is what's going to get on television. And Eric had pointed out, which is an honest assessment, that it appeared like the match was the actual physical confrontation match was going to be between the 2 guys in the suits. And we went back and forth for a while, and I think Ronnie just enjoyed us arguing with each other and egging
right.
us both on, now that I think back about it, which isn't the first time that's happened.
That's usually his role.
Yeah, which progressively gets Eric angrier and then makes me realize how fun it is, and we kind of go in that direction.
My friends love egging me on.
Just
annoying me is one of their biggest joys in life.
Speaking of which, they never sewed up that Mr. America thing. I really want to know who it is.
And that's exactly what Lawrence is doing right now. But let me just say about the poster specifically, because I've never given my side.
Oh, here we go.
But my point is that, yes, it is creating the idea, the impression that Vince is actually going to have a match with Donald Trump, which I understand your point on. That's what's going to draw eyes to the promotion and sell the match. I mean, it did do the biggest buy rate in WWE history to this day, didn't it? So I guess mission accomplished. But my point was that Umaga was the Intercontinental Champion. And
Umaga.
And Bobby Lashley was Umaga was the Intercontinental Champion, and Lashley was the ECW champ. And forget even the belts per se, because they could do for the Raw audience every week.
They're called championships. There are no belts.
Whatever. That they could have put a montage together about the history of each title, make it seem important. This is for the wrestling fans, not the mainstream fans who are going to buy it anyway. But also, this could be the chance to make Lashley and Umaga a bigger star.
Right.
And originally wasn't the rumor that Shane McMahon was trying to book Bob Sapp versus Chuck Liddell?
That was a rumor.
Yeah, something ridiculous. But they didn't get the freak shows. So you have Umaga and Lashley. This could be a big chance to make them stars. Yeah. And I thought the whole thing was completely lost. I think you could still...
Well, it ended with, I believe, stunners to everyone, but Lashley, who recently I watched that, and Lashley stood there and helped Trump up, and that was it. And Austin just kind of walked away drinking beer, giving everyone the bird. And I remember thinking, and now in hindsight, obviously in 2020, you were 100% right. I have to concede it here on the show. Well,
why?
Maybe not,
because
so
I think your point stands about drawing the eyes.
Get the eyes, bring people in with the people in the suits cutting their hair. especially Vince selling the haircut like, wow, as if it was painful to get a haircut.
Hey, it could hurt, I guess.
I guess it could. Depends on your barber. And boy, they should have got Beefcake for that, shouldn't they? If you think about it, the chair got an entrance.
I actually
the actual barber chair did get an entrance.
I thought that going as far back as Edge and Kurt Angle, Molly and Victoria, all those. Brutus Beefcake should have gotten a payday every time.
He's got a payday every time.
The cake.
The cake, and I met the cake with the fanny pack at the Club Benet in New Jersey about 20 years ago. He's a very nice man, the cake. So anyway, in hindsight, the focus of the segment itself and the aftermath should have been on the two guys in the match, because they were both stars that they were grooming, and all these years later, we know, I mean, obviously Umaga's passed, unfortunately, and Lashley is in a place where well,
where is he?
We know where he is.
Bellator,
well, I don't know.
TNA, whatever.
He's somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, clearly they weren't and still aren't in the make new stars business.
I can't wait to talk about wrestling. It's gonna be ridiculous.